us on the Prophetic Times Off-Grid Survival Living. And she is an amazing entrepreneur. She's a multi-passionate serial entrepreneur who is on a mission to help her community, fellow entrepreneurs become best in class in their industry. And we're going to talk about that today, using the effects of social media marketing, publishing their story, their books, and getting very visible to their right audience. She is a founder of many multiple businesses, and she is a serial entrepreneur. Naja, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Rhonda. It's so good to be here.
I'm so excited that you've come and to teach us about why someone would publish a book. I mean, there's different ways of publishing a book. You can self-publish, or they can come to someone like you and publish a book with somebody that's publishing that as their industry. Tell us why somebody would want to do that and the difference between those two.
There's actually more ways that people can publish. And I really do want people to consider all of these options, because when you make that decision, you're making a big decision, a decision really based on what your goals are for that book, right? So the 4 ways that you can actually publish are: self-publishing is one way, and there's benefits to that. There's pros and cons. Traditional publishing, pros and cons, right? Really great when someone's going to maybe give you an upfront advance, but then of course you have much less royalties. They own your book, and so they basically are telling you what to do rather than vice versa. And then there's hybrid publishing. So I'm a hybrid publisher. So someone would come to me and they have a manuscript or they have an idea, and I really support them to get that book well written, to do all of the production of the book and then the distribution, and then support them in the marketing. And then there's just kind of, it's self-publishing, but not to profit, right? You just really want a book that's like a legacy book. You just want something that you can give to your friends and family. And so those are the ways that we talk about. The benefits of publishing with someone, say like me, a hybrid publisher, are you're the boss first and foremost. So if you really are clear what you want this book to do for you, my job is to make sure that you accomplish that goal. The second piece of that is your royalties are exponentially increased, right? You get 100% of your royalties unless you're under our imprint, and then you get up to 50 or 60% royalties, whereas with a traditional publisher, you're getting anywhere between 3 and 12% royalties, right? So working with a hybrid publisher over self-publishing, so when you self-publish, you're doing everything yourself. You got to know where to go get a really good graphic designer. How do you get formatting? Tell me, what about editors? There's copy editing, there's developmental editing, there's line editing. So you really want your book to be well written. It's not enough just to put your words out there. It's not enough just to put your story out there. It has to really flow well. It has to read well. And so working with a hybrid publisher, we make sure that all of those pieces are together so that you're putting out the best product that has the highest opportunity for profit.
Which is really great. The other thing I think is amazing is people are trying to maybe get their niche out there. So like if somebody's a really good, avid chicken producer doing eggs and whatever, and they're out in the country living that way, it would behoove them to create a small book that would teach about how to raise chickens or harvest eggs or do whatever, and then allow that to be something that they could utilize to make money on the side while they're still doing something else, kind of like a side hustle or residual income.
So what I would say to that is, let's take your example of the chicken farmer. What I do as a hybrid publisher, and just as someone who, I'm a business brain first, right? So my business brain is always thinking, how can we make money doing this? And then I'm a creative. So that creative brain is, well, how do we do that thing that's going to make us profit really well and creatively and beautifully and efficiently? So let's take the chicken farmer example. So we can say, I can have the chicken farmer come to me and say, Naja, we want to hire you to put a book out on chicken farming. And I'm like, okay. Well, before I have you start to write the book, I want to know that people are searching for how to be a chicken farmer, how to work with a chicken farmer, what are they searching within the niche that you're an expert in? So that when we're writing your book, we really refine the topic, we refine the title, we refine the concept of your book, so that you have more opportunities for people who are searching for that topic. Because if no one's searching for I don't know, how to be a chicken farmer, but everyone is searching for how to manage the soil of chicken farms or something like that, then we want to write a book on how to manage the soil of chicken farms, because we want you again to be profitable and successful. So of course we want it to be within your niche. We want it to be where you're an expertise. We want it to be inside of your knowledge base, but we can also infuse, there's so much information out there. We can also infuse, you don't have to totally be the expert in order to write that kind of book.
So that would actually go along with like natural remedies. You could do it with, wow, they're trying to force this on us and we should be eating that. I mean, there's so many different ways of creating that type of niche industry. And I think I really recommend on what you're doing, because you found a way to kind of bring people into an environment to actually go forth to have that brain power to sit down and do that book. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So which piece do you want me to tell you about?
I'd like for you to explain to how you give a person the space to write the book, and how
Mhm.
you have a brain power that works together with a group that come together, and how that is produced, and how
Got
you
it.
do what you do, because you're pretty amazing.
Thanks, Rhonda. Thank you. I appreciate that. So there's two ways that Rainmaker Publishing, my company, we work with people. The first, most exciting part for me is really our retreats. So this is where you're in a community, you have a cohort of people, and you have to apply because we want to make sure that we can support you. But it's an 8-week process where we actually, and it's built around this 4-day retreat. So the 4-day retreat is where all of the writing is done. It's where you have this cohort of people that are supporting you. We're doing readings, we're eating really good food, we're having a lot of fun. But the book piece of it is really like gathering, taking everything that we've done in the first 4 weeks before that retreat, and we're executing in the writing. So those first 4 weeks are about everything I just said. We want to identify it's a great topic. We want to really get your title together. We want to help you build out your outline so that as you're writing, so the outline, this is one thing that anyone who's publishing a book, whether you're working with a traditional publisher, you're self-publishing, or you go with someone like me, please know the most important piece of your writing is your outline. Your outline is basically your book, right? When you have a very well done template on how to do your outline, then the writing piece becomes that much easier. It's very clear, it's organized, so we help you through that in the first 4 weeks. You're doing all of this with this cohort of people who are cheering you on. They're telling you, no, I don't know. I think consider this, right? We're not there to change your writing. We're there to help make it better. Because again, when we look at this piece that you're writing, this work that you're putting out into the world, we want it to be done well so that people will want to buy it. And when they buy it, they're going to leave a 5-star review over buying it because your topic sounded great. The title was pretty good, but then the inside of the book isn't great. So then they leave a 2-star review and no one else is going to want to buy the book, right? So it's really about every piece of this has to be executed well so that you ultimately can make the most profits.
Fantastic. I think this is a great way for people that don't really know how to start writing a book, or they've got an idea and it's just sitting mulling in their head and they're not really quite sure what to do with it, to have this type of leadership to take them from point A to point B to point C to market, and giving them the ideas, not just the idea, but the camaraderie and the rally around them, so that they can
Yeah.
go forward and feel comfortable that what they're doing is going to be profitable somehow or another. And they're going to get their message out, because their message is so important that they want to be able to shout it to the rooftops, whether they're doing anything towards something that they're doing in a small scale or a large scale. This could be for anybody. Or maybe you just want to tell your story. I mean, your story, everybody has a story and everybody has a story to get out. So I really want to thank you for that. It's so good.
There's 4 ways that I say that people can profit from publishing. And I think that's really important to consider. The first way is as a writer. You're a writer, you're a creative, and you just write a lot of books and you publish a lot of books and you market a lot of books, right? And then it doesn't matter. You could be a fiction writer, a nonfiction writer. So that's one way. The other way is you use your published book as a leverage tool for gaining influence in your industry. You use this book for, let's say, call it a business card. So you use it to get more speaking gigs, new business, media attention, corporate or nonprofit consulting. So that's another way. you can use your story to build your brand. And that's one thing that I've really been able to accomplish is I have sponsors. I have become an influencer where people pay me because my book really created a platform for me. So it leveraged my brand, right? So you use your brand to grow influence and you use your influence to get paid. And then the fourth way that I talk about is you go into business of strategically publishing books and lots of them that people are searching for in low competition niches. And so you may not be a writer, you become a publisher. And so that's actually how I started my business. Is I really just wanted to go into publishing to profit. And so I hired ghostwriters, write books, and really that strategy is all about really understanding what people are searching, really understanding what it is that people want, and putting that out there in a really great way. So as people are considering, well, do I really want to write because I want to write? Or do I want to write because I want to make money? And if that's it, then you have to be clear on what your strategy is. And if you're writing because you love to write or you want to tell your story or whatever, then that's another strategy. And so I like people to be honest with themselves first and foremost, so that they can be honest with me so that I can support them in the best way possible.
That's great. Very good. So this is Naja with Rainmaker Publishing. She's quite an entrepreneur. She's out there to serve you and give you everything that you need. You can reach her by www.timetogetpublished.com. It is definitely your time to get published, and she's the
Mm.
woman to do it. I just want any last words you'd like to say, Naja?
Everyone has a story, and now is your time to tell it, because my guess is that if you're watching this and something is intriguing you about it, you probably have been thinking about writing your book for a really long time. It took me 10 years of talking about writing a book, and I had a list of 60 plus titles, and I'd never written a book. And the moment I published my first book, and it was really short, really small, and it was on video marketing, I started crying. And I cried because I had done something that I had been talking about doing for a really long time. But after I published that first book, I published 3 more. And we've helped dozens of people to publish their books now, and I love it. So if you have it in you and you're watching in this, now is your time. Now is your time to start publishing.
I agree. So if you're interested, please get a hold of Naja. I think this is your time to shine, and no time is better than the present. Thank you, Naja, for all that you do. You're an inspiration to many.
Thanks, Rhonda. Thanks for having me.